Hello, I'm Dan Herlash, lecturer for the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater College of Business and Economics. This is Marketing 312, and we're going to be talking about different types of sales roles. You know, as you look around you, there's all kinds of sales roles, and you don't even realize they're selling. They go by different names, don't necessarily called sales, but you have waitresses selling you desserts, recommending different types of meals, things that are usually more profitable for the company, selling wine, waiters, sommeliers. That's what they do in restaurants. There's you got obviously there's car salespeople, there's real estate salespeople. What about travel agents? Ever think about that? Ever use a travel agent? Pretty handy and work really well. Buying and selling real estate, you have real estate agents, those are sales. Insurance agents, those are salespeople. Stockbrokers, you have, I have a physical trainer, okay, a personal trainer. That's a salesperson, okay. They sell their services. There's a lot of salespeople. Everywhere you look, there are salespeople. You have a contractor, you want some work done in your house. Guy comes and talks to you and gives you an estimate. That's a salesperson. Now, he might be the one that does the work, or then again, he might have other people doing the work, but he or she. That's a salesperson. They're everywhere you look, okay? Financial consultants. Go to the bank. You want to open a banking account. You want to get a checking account, or you want to take out a car loan. You sit down with somebody at a desk. Guess what? They're a salesperson, and a lot of them get paid bonuses and things on the number of sales that they make. If you're a loan officer, a mortgage broker, you're a salesperson. So a lot of them go by different names. You go to the eye doctor, and there's the assistant that after the eye doctor makes your prescription. The person that's out there, I forget what the name for it is, they're professionals. Professional is not the optometrist, it's the assistant, but anyway, they got a name for it. Guess what? They're salespeople. They're selling you glasses and lenses, and then you sit down with them and they try to upsell you on the glasses. So you get the anti-glare, anti-scratch, and you have the wider progressive lenses, which I need because otherwise I'd have to have quadruple lenses. Forget about bifocals. So those are all salespeople. And a lot of people don't realize it. And numbers show that about 80% of all marketing students who graduate from college eventually sometime in their career end up in sales. So let's talk a little bit about what some of those different types of sales positions are and give you an idea of how that all works in the industry. So we'll, oh my gosh, here we go. Let's get this reset. There, so types of sales roles. So let's talk about it. So first of all, business B2B. My dad used to say, you take something as simple, and I'm going to blow this up here a second again just so that you can see it. You take something as simple as this calculator. This is, I don't know, $3, $4, $5, $6 calculator. I probably got it at an office supply store, just something to have handy on my desk just in case. I don't know why I don't use it very often. I usually use my cell phone, but once in a while my cell phone is busy with something I don't want to mess with it, so I have this handy. Now you look at this thing, it's lightweight, it's small, it's got a little rubberized grip on the side, okay? It's plastic, it's got little buttons and they're printed, and there's a LCD readout. And if you look in the back, there's a whole bunch of parts in there. There's a board and a whole lot of parts that goes into it, a printed circuit board. Guess what? There's probably hundreds of vendors that got involved in putting this together. When you start thinking about the plastic resins, the plastic injection mold people, the people that build the prototypes, the people that make the plastic for the buttons, these are rubberized, the people that do the rubberized buttons, or maybe they're vinyl, I don't know. The people that make these strips, this usually isn't the same company that makes it. They buy it from somebody else, or at least they buy the materials. And then you think, okay, so if it's rubbers, there's people that peeled the rubber trees, okay, in Indonesia. So those are all things that we don't think about. And the clear plastic right here, it goes on here. And then there's plastic injected molded plastic that's going. There's tiny little screws, and somebody sold them that. And you know what? Somebody sold them the tools to put those screws in. And somebody sold them the tools to put all this together and to clean and keep things right, and protective equipment for the employees, and insurance and benefits for the employees, and vehicles to ship things or to loading docks and the materials that go on loading docks and the jacks and the forklifts and the tables and everything else that goes with to set up this factory. If I had to manufacture this individually, it would probably cost, I'm guessing, $1,000, easy. But because of the scale at which it's done, it's 3, 4, 5, 6, $7. Pretty cheap. Okay, I remember when these first came out, I bought one, it was $80. So that's what economies of scale and time have done to that. But a lot of hands touched that. And all the hands that touched it, somebody had to sell all those materials and things, and those are B2B salespeople. So there's an awful lot of B2B sales. And I just want to show you a couple things on how this works. So B2B business channels, just to give you an idea. You can have a direct salesperson. The person works with the manufacturer and sells directly to the business customer. It could be somebody that sells them the resins. I have a friend that works for Honeywell, and he sells resins. And his last name is DuPont, which is kind of funny because DuPont also sells resins. But anyway, he sells resins to manufacturers. So anything, any packaged goods that you have, anything, a jewel case for a CD, although nobody has those anymore, but anything that you have that has plastic, this little cup right here, somebody sold the resins, and if you feel in the bottom of the cup, there's a little nipple on there. This was plastic injected molded, okay? Or blow molded. There's different kinds. There's centrifugal molding. Somebody sold those machines. So that's a direct industrial salesperson. Now, sometimes it doesn't make sense for a manufacturer to have a sales force to sell to everybody because there's so many of them. And it costs so much to have people running all over the country. So what they do is they have salespeople, trade people that sell to distributors. And then their distributors they do bulk breaking, they provide additional services, and they have distributors reps that sell to that business customer. So if I work for 3M, in this case, 3M makes a lot of industrial equipment and tooling, and they make things like sanding discs and sanders and things like that for industrial. Of course, we know them all for, stick-it notes, okay? They work, and which was made entirely by accident, by the way, and Scotch tape and things like that. So we have some consumer things, but they do a lot in manufacturing. So they have trade salespeople that then go to distributors, in this case, Day Distributing. And Day Distributing has all these commercial clients out there that use equipment. They need everything from tables and chairs and workstations and you name it, and they need supplies for making their products. Now, so they sell pretty much everything except for the raw materials, and Day's Distributing sells to the business, okay? Now, manufacturers often also have missionary salesperson. I know 3M do. And they go out and they call directly on the customers with that distributor, and they bring in expertise. So that distributor or that customer is saying, wow, we have to use this high viscosity bonding tape to hold panels in place, and we don't know what to use, and we've been using rivets and screws, and the 3M person comes in and says, well, we can still be buying rivets and screws, but in these applications over here, you can do it with tape. It'll go on much faster, it'll hold much stronger, it'll last better, and we'll save you half of the production costs. And the business owner goes, great, and the distributor's rep who brought them in looks like a hero. So that's B2B. Now, B2C is a little bit different, business to consumer. There are a few companies that do go to direct. One of our this is Avon, and you think of, can't think of the name of the Mary Kay Cosmetics, okay? They go direct to the consumer, with home, that kind of thing. But there's also, one of our big partners is Northwestern Mutual. And they sell, well, a lot of their stuff, they do some business things, but most of what they do is direct to the consumer. And that is providing financial advice, investment advice, selling life insurance and disability income as well. Trade salespeople, manufacturers also have trade salespeople that go to big box retailer. Here's a case where Sony goes to big box retailer, and then they also train their people, and then Best Buy sells directly to consumers. So this right here is B2C, but actually this person right here is selling a consumer product, but they're making a B2B sale. They're selling to the big box. And then you get some people, and this one uses Black & Decker, but I like to use Milwaukee Tool because they're one of our partners and basically do the same thing as Black & Decker, only are now doing it quite a bit better actually. And they're not in appliances, but they're definitely in tooling. And they have direct salespeople that sell to distributors, who then sell to retailers, and then it's sold. Now, this is not accurate because for American, Milwaukee Tool, Home Depot happens to be their biggest customer. So what they do is they sell directly to Home Depot, like up here, okay, the Sony salesperson, and then they send missionary reps in to sell to the consumers. And a lot of those consumers that come into Home Depot are contractors, so really B2B, okay? So they're working with consumers and they're working with B2B, but in this case, they also sell to distributors who sell to other manufacturers who use tooling and to contractors who use tooling, and they got the trade salespeople going out there. So this is just an example where, in this case, they don't sell. They do sell direct to that one retailer. They probably have a few other big ones that they do, but smaller ones is all through distributors. Okay. They also sell directly with this person directly to large contracting firms as well. So if you start with them, you start as a missionary rep working in a Home Depot or a couple Home Depots, and then eventually you're calling on a group of Home Depots, and then eventually you're calling on bigger individual accounts, and you have a lot of opportunities to do a lot of other really cool things. So where do you find salespeople? Well, they're just about everywhere, but there's quite a few companies, have field salespeople. There's still a lot of value of getting face-to-face with a customer. I was talking to a friend the other day who really did okay during COVID, but was welcoming being able to get face-to-face with his customers because it's harder for them to say no face-to-face, and also you can't read the body language and that kind of thing as well. However, a lot of companies start out with inside salespeople, and when you start in sales, you'll be inside and you're making phone calls and you're generating leads, okay? So you're generating leads, you're making phone calls, and then maybe you graduate to an inside salesperson that's taken those leads and you're working with customers. So you take the sale all the way through to the sale, and you've got customers and you're calling on the phone or you're doing virtual meetings with them. And then you start, as you get bigger or you have bigger accounts, you go out and you visit with some of those. And then eventually their top salespeople, the people that work with the biggest accounts, they're field salespeople face-to-face with those large accounts, because that is an important part. But a lot of companies are learning that this virtual part right here, that this being able to talk face-to-face, at least on a computer, it really it works well, and it saves a lot of travel, a lot of time, and a lot of costs. It's not a complete replacement for face-to-face, but it's a newer aspect that people are learning to use, and they're realizing there's some real benefits to it. So we're going to see more virtual salespeople as we go. So anyway, thank you very much for the time, and we'll be talking next about some of the qualities of a salesperson.